Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Jill Baird and this is a beginner and advanced senior friendly strength workout, but if you are a more advanced exerciser, you can absolutely do this workout. You can use heavier weights, you can balance a little bit more. I'll offer some tidbits on ways to progress and regress exercises. This is a traditional Tabata timed workout. So we will have 5 Tabata circuits, which is 8 rounds of work for 20 seconds with 10 seconds of rest, and then we'll take a little rest in between each circuit. If you are new to working out, you might want to pause the video between circuits and take a little extra rest. We will do 1 exercise per circuit, so we're going to do 8 rounds of the same exercise before we move on to the next exercise. I will be using 7-pound dumbbells, which is pretty light for me. A good way to judge if your dumbbells are heavy enough is if you're flying through reps, like if you're getting you feel like you can do 100 reps of an exercise in that 20 seconds, then it's time to pick up some heavier weights. And if you are feeling like your arms can't move or you're sacrificing your form, then perhaps the dumbbells are too heavy, or maybe you need to not use dumbbells at all. I will be reminding us of these things throughout the workout. We are going to start with a very short warm-up. I suggest doing something like going for a walk or just some movement before you start this workout. Why don't you go ahead and join me, and we're just going to come into a march. So opposite knee, opposite elbow. And if you like to play music during your classes, you can pause the video and turn on some music. I have a mat. You don't need a mat. We won't be down on the ground, but I like to use it to judge how far I'm moving in each direction. You will need some dumbbells. And I always recommend having a chair or a bench or something close by that you can put those dumbbells down on to pick them up and set them down easier than if you were putting them down on the ground. Okay, now we're going to do some side steps, and we're going to do a shoulder squeeze. So like a row here, pulling our shoulder blades together as we step from side to side. You can get a little lower if you want to make it a little bit harder, or you can stand upright. Just make sure your core is turned on. So pull those front ribs down, pull your belly button back in and up. All right, we're going to come into some butt kicks. So kicking heel to glute, and if you want to add some presses, you can just press your palms up to the ceiling. There will be some overhead pressing in our workout. So this is beginning to stretch the front of our thighs, our quad muscles, and activate our hamstrings, those big muscles in the backs of our legs. So your heart rate should be getting a little bit higher. And now we're going to come into what's called a good morning. So you're going to bring your fingertips behind your ears. You're going to hinge and bump your butt back like you're closing a door with your butt. And then squeeze your butt to stand up. So this is different from a squat. In a squat, we bend our knees more and we drop our butt towards the ground. In a hinge, we press our butt back and reach our chest forward. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale as you bring your chest in the direction of parallel to the mat. And exhale as you squeeze your buns and come up to stand. So my shoulder blades are hugging together the entire time. All right, and now let's come into a traditional squat. So in a squat, I like to bring my feet pointing out, like if you think about on a steering wheel at 11 and 1, right? Like when you're first learning to drive, you hold the steering wheel at 10 and 2 or 11 and 1. So you can picture a clock where 11 and 1 are. And we bend our knees, drop our butt like we're going to sit down into a chair, and then squeeze your butt to come up to stand, but don't press your hips forward. Use the squeeze to stop yourself at the top. Let's do 3 more. And some of us are going to be able to go down lower, and some of us might only be able to come down a little bit, and that's fine. It's just honoring where you're at. And then our last little warm-up move here, we're going to do just a little step back. We're actually going to have a step back in our first move in our workout. So keep your gaze lifted. Let's do 2 more each side. And I'm not sure if I introduced my companion here. This is Fiona. All right, go ahead and pick up your dumbbells. Our first move is going to be a press and a step back. So we're going to do same side. So I am pressing with my left hand and stepping my right toes back, and in the second 20 seconds, I'll do the opposite hand and the opposite arm. So if you're more advanced, you're going to want to pick up some heavier dumbbells. We'll be on when we hear the bell. Whoops. Okay. So pressing the dumbbell with the left hand. The dumbbells are racked at my shoulders, so my elbows are pointing forward. All right, now we have a 10-second rest, so we're going to do the other side. So I'm grounding my right leg. I'm going to be tapping my left toes back, and I'm going to press the dumbbell with my right hand. If you are more advanced and you want to turn this into a reverse lunge with a press, you can turn it into a reverse lunge, lunging back with those toes that we're tapping back. Okay, now we're going to go back to the first side. So I'm going to press up with my left hand, tap back with my right toes, or lunge back with my right toes. So you should be squeezing your glute, your buns, as you step those toes back. So we're working into the bun there. We are working balance here as we step the toes back, because we're grounding on one foot. And then exhale as you punch the dumbbell up, and inhale as the dumbbell comes back to your shoulder and your toes come back together. Or your feet, I should say. So another way to make this harder would be to alternate within that 20 seconds. So why don't we do that for the next 2 rounds? We're going to alternate, so left hand, right foot, and then immediately into right hand, left foot. We just have to work our balance a little bit more here. And if you're lunging, you can just do alternating lunges. All right, well, we'll continue that for the next round as well, alternating sides. You know, it's funny, 8 rounds of an exercise really starts to feel pretty heavy, no matter what weight you're using. So if you need to put the dumbbells down and do this without dumbbells, you can always put the dumbbells down and do it without dumbbells. So now this time we're going to pulse. We're going to stay on the same side. So I'm going to ground my left leg, and I'm just going to hover my right toes back there, squeeze the right glute, and I'm just going to press with the left leg. If this is too much, you're just going to continue with those step backs. This is just really challenging the balance here. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm grounding my right foot. So you can start with those left toes back on the ground, and then squeeze your left your left glute there to lift the toes away. So I'm activating all the muscles in my right leg as well, paying particular attention to that glute and hamstring in the left leg. All right, so that was the end of our first Tabata round. We're gonna move into our next exercise. So we're gonna let the timer run its course. And then the next exercise is gonna be a squat. So we're gonna take a step out and then an upright row. And we're gonna stay on the same side. I'm gonna start by stepping my left leg out, the dumbbells face back towards my hips. If it's too much to step out, you can just squat at center. So squat, come to center, upright row. So elbow leads in that upright row. I could probably use heavier dumbbells here. This isn't that challenging. We're gonna step out with the right leg this time, and same thing, upright row as we come through center. So a wide squat, step the feet together, and then upright row. Wide squat, feet together, upright row. So if you feel like it's too easy, make sure that you have or get some heavier weights, because the whole point of lifting weights is to build muscle, because as we age, our bodies lose muscle and we have to pick up heavy dumbbells. We have to lift heavy things in order to maintain or keep or grow muscles. And then make sure that you're eating protein throughout the day with every meal, because as we age, our bodies also stop processing protein as well as they did. So we have to, so that is one thing that contributes to loss of muscle mass as we age. And then loss of muscle mass means not burning as much fat as we did in our younger years. So we need to make sure that we're lifting heavy weights and that we're eating a good amount of protein to support muscle growth from lifting those weights. So yes, exercise like walking or cycling or just any cardio-based exercise is so good for our heart health and our mental health. And then we need to add in strength training to keep our muscles and our bones safe. So it all works together, right? We need to find those movements that we enjoy, different types of movements, and then make sure that we're doing them consistently. And maybe your squat isn't as low here, and that's fine. And if it's difficult to step side to side, then just stay at the center. Squat and then upright row. So we have one more each side, and then we'll be moving on to our third Tabata set. So this one is firing up all sorts of muscle groups. We're using muscles in our glutes, in our legs, always in our core. Remember, your core is always turned on, like you're in that ready position, like if someone was gonna give you a little tap. Something I like to think about is imagine you're laying on the floor on your back, and your dog or your cat was gonna come take a little step on your belly. That's the engagement we want to have all the time when we're working out. When we keep our core properly engaged, our body can't dump into our low back. So it helps to keep the low back safe. All right, we're gonna let this do its thing. If you need a longer break, press pause, we are moving on to our third circuit, which is a deadlift. So think back to that good morning we did in our warm-up. So loop your shoulders down and back into their sockets. Hinge at your hips like you're shutting the door behind you. Squeeze your buns to come up, and then we're going to do a front raise. Okay? So bring your feet about hip-width distance apart. Slight bend in your knees, hinge at your hips. So think about your butt going back, your chest going forward. Bring the dumbbells down to about your shins. Squeeze your buns, tuck your buns under to come up. And then a front raise with the dumbbells. So think like you have your hands full of groceries and you need to close the car door. You're bumping your butt back. Okay, so notice we didn't get very many reps in each time, and that's okay. So keep those shoulder blades squeezing together like you're hugging an imaginary pencil between them. And then this exercise is so good because it focuses on our hamstrings and the muscles in the backs of our legs, which we don't always strengthen in a lot of exercises, but they're so important for keeping our knees safe, for keeping our low back safe. Okay, hug that imaginary pencil. Keep your gaze forward, come up, and then front raise. So as I front raise, my core is super important because I don't want to hurt the little tiny muscles in the fronts of my shoulders, and then hugging those shoulder blades together the whole time while I lift those dumbbells in front protects the tiny muscles in the fronts of my shoulders as well. And if it gets too heavy to lift both dumbbells simultaneously, you can do one and then the other, and then come back down into that hinge deadlift. So your back stays flat. That was halfway. So let's focus on maybe getting in a couple more reps here. Really squeeze your buns as you come up to stand. So actually start squeezing your buns right before you come up to stand, and you should feel your hamstrings, the big muscle group in the upper backs of your legs talking to you here. You'll probably feel them tomorrow too, and that's okay. Inhaling as you lower and exhaling as you lift. All right. 2 more rounds here. All right, we're going on to our last 20-second work period for this exercise, and we'll be moving on to our 4th Tabata circuit, 4 of 5. So time flies when you're having fun. And in this short period of time, you are doing tremendous amounts of good things for your body. You are growing muscles, you are giving your mind some much needed exercise. Okay, I'm gonna let that run through. In our next move, we're gonna do a server row. So elbows are bent 90 degrees, and we press the dumbbells out. And we're also gonna do a leg raise on the right. If that's too much, you're just gonna do a step out on the right. And then on the left side, we're going to do a rotator strengthener, rotator cuff strengthener. So again, elbows bent 90 degrees, using these outer glutes to lift the leg out to the side. All right, so we are going to get started with that server row and the right leg lifting. So you could probably lift a little bit heavier here. And remember, you can just tap the toes out to the side. Your tailbone is drawing down. Buns are hugging in. All right, so now with the leg raise on the left side, we're just gonna open and close the dumbbells. So palms face up still. Keep those elbows pinned into your side body. Squeeze all those muscles in your right leg, which is the supporting leg. And then think about the front chest staying lifted, squeezing the shoulder blades in towards one another. All right, tuck the shoulders down and back into their sockets. So this is a lot of bicep work without doing, whoo, lost my balance there, bicep curls. My forearms also feel this a little bit. Exhale to lift and inhale to come back with control. Shake my arms out a little bit here. All right, the left leg lateral raise and the rotator cuff strengthener. So my shoulders are down and back in their sockets, not creeping up to my ears like bad shoulder pads or bad clip-on earrings. Whew, arms are really feeling this. Okay, that was our halfway point for this Tabata round. So find your balance and then serve the platter. Or I suppose platters here. What's on your platter, huh? What are you serving? All right, rotator cuff and left leg raise. This really starts to, you feel the muscles talking to you, don't you? So even though I'm using really light dumbbells, I can really feel it. So if you ever feel like you need to put those dumbbells down or find something lighter, do it. We don't want to hurt anything, but we also need to do check-ins from time to time, like I said, to make sure that we're lifting an appropriate weight. Right? Because if you're carving out this time to do exercises, you really should make sure that you're working to the best of your ability, giving your body that gift. Because it really is a gift. It's an I get to. Sometimes we frame things in our minds as, oh, I have to work out, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then it kind of makes it not as fun. But if you think about it as, oh my gosh, my body still does this for me. That was the end of that Tabata round. I'm gonna put these down for a second and shake my arms out. Maybe you can join me. Maybe you want to take a sip of water. We really are lucky, right? It is a gift to have the time to do this and to actually just physically be able to do it. So our fifth and final move is a Peekaboo. So again, shoulder blades hug together, and then I'm going to add in a step out. So I'm going to stay on the same side for each 20-second period. And you don't have to do the step out. And if you want to make it a little bit more difficult, you can just do a balance here where one knee is bent 90 degrees in line with the hip. So this is really a core move as well. And then hug the ends of the dumbbells in together as it comes into your chest like that. I must increase my bust. What movie was that from? Grease? All right, so you're either tapping out to the side or you're balancing on one leg. So my right leg is bent. My left leg is firing up. Imagine that you could lift the skin on the front of your shins, right? And then you're squeezing your quadricep to lift your kneecap. This is the quadriceps. It's actually 4 muscles in the front of the leg. And then you're also squeezing the glute. So now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So open up and peekaboo. I've heard these called French doors as well. Open the door, close the door. Imagine your chest is lifting up towards the ceiling. All right, back to left leg bent 90 degrees. So bring those arms up like scarecrow arms, cactus arms, elbows 90 degrees. If you're looking to even advance this further, you straighten the leg, really working into those quadricep muscles. Those big muscles in the front of the leg here. So those muscles stabilize our knees. A lot of times when we have knee pain, it might be because we haven't been using our quadriceps properly and we've been dumping down into our knee. Make sure your core is turned on here. Ooh, I lost my balance. You know what that means? I'm human, so I just pick right back up. It's not how many times we fall, it's how many times we get back up, right? We're all gonna fall from time to time. We all make mistakes. We all do things that might not turn out the way we thought that they did. That's okay. Just get up, dust yourself off, get right back to it. Or come up with another plan, right? Sometimes the things that don't work out teach us a lot of lessons as well. Holy moly, my arms are on fire. Whoo! All right, one more each side. Would think my leg would be on fire from doing this, but nope. It is my arms. All right, one more side. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be so happy when it's over, but we didn't come here to do 7 rounds of an 8-round Tabata, right? We're gonna see this through. Just keep reminding yourself, it's almost over. You've almost done it. Whoo, I'm wobbling from side to side. Gotta squeeze my core, squeeze my buns. I'm not gonna look at that timer. I don't know, oh gosh. All right, let's go ahead and shake our arms out. So if you have your thumbs facing up, it tends to open the fronts of the shoulders a little bit more. So I hope that you can do a little bit longer of a stretch. And then let's just bring our right arm across our body. So hug the shoulder back and reach the fingertips to the side. And then we'll switch to the other side. And then bring your tricep overhead, but don't let it press your chin down. And then same thing on the other side. And then let's just go ahead and interlace those hands behind the back. Stretch the fronts of the shoulders out. You can lift them away. If your hands don't reach each other, you can find opposite elbows and still open up the fronts of those shoulders. All right, friends, I hope to see you back here soon. In the meantime, keep moving, keep drinking water, keep doing things that make you happy, stay safe, and I will see you again real soon.